I'm Kenzie, and this is a Dancing Nerd Read. Today I'm going to talk to you about how I best think that you should approach the Stella Rainbow expanded romantasy, fantasy romance, paranormal romance universe, as all of her paranormal romance, fantasy romance, however you want to classify it, her more mystical books are connected in one world in one way or another. And this is going to be my guide to how you should, at what point you can dive in and which you are best to, how you should follow it. Editing Kenzie here real quick. I forgot to say that Stella Rainbow is a primarily male-X romance author. So whether that be two men or a man and someone who identifies as non-binary. There's also some trans rep within her books. But anyways, back to the scheduled program. So I recommend going on Stella Rainbow's website, and I believe there's a free prequel novella called First Play that will kind of introduce you to how two of the main characters in this series met and how they first came together. And then I would read Devil's Gamble, and then Pet's Ploy, then Master's Design. That's the entire series. It all follows the same triple M or MMM romance between two humans and a person from Otherworld, which is kind of like there's Otherworld and there's Afterworld. Afterworld is what we think of as heaven. I guess you could say that Otherworld is kind of like purgatory in a way, because you need to kind of have a clean soul in order to go to Afterworld, whether that be doesn't matter how that kind of takes place. So that's the first series that if you're more into political romance and more into, or you want something with a little more politics, I would start with that one, but I would still read it before others in this world. If you want more found family, fluffy romance, I would then suggest reading the Mages of Mistveil series. And in this section, I'm going to be talking about certain books. I will say what series they're a part of, because some of these are Mistveil Mages. I think one is Misfits of Mistveil, and a few of them are part of the Mistveil spin-offs, which I believe you can still get access to. And I think there's an ebook bind-up of all the series plus the Mistveil spin-off. but you have to pay for that, whereas you can read all of these on Kindle Unlimited separately. So, first, I would read Touch of Magic, which is um, Mages of Mistveil 1. And then I would read My Elf Mate, which is the first of the spin-off, Mistveil spin-off. And then My Dragon Mate, which is another spin-off, but you also know one of the characters in A Touch of Magic. And then I would do Sleep of Eternity, which is Mages of Mistveil 2. And then I would do Angel of Death, which is Mistveil, Mages of Mistveil, sorry, a lot of M's. Mages of Mistveil 3. And then I would read My Elf Daddy, which is a spin-off. And then I would read Claws, which is Misfits of Mistveil 1. Now, so after you've read Claws, and after you've finished Master's Design, whichever way you decide to read them, because I would recommend reading both of those sections before you read the next section I'm going to talk about. So, next, you want to read Maximus, which is the first book in the Lords of Otherworld. And then the My Fae Mate, which is a Mistveil spin-off. And then I would read Tales. And then I would read Zane, then Nox. No, sorry. Tales is Misfits of Mistveil 2. And then Zane is Lords of Otherworld 2. Nox is Lords of Otherworld 3. And then I'd read Lionel, which is Lords of Otherworld 4. And then I'd read Healing Holiday, which is a holiday themed little novella that takes place in Otherworld after the events of Lionel. And then I would then read The Prince's Mate. I haven't read that yet, as at the time of filming, as it just released, but it does continue on from the Lords of Otherworld series. It just takes place quite a few years later as the son of the rulers of Otherworld is mated with the best friend of the king of Otherworld, as you find out in Fate's Gambit. Now, from here, you can kind of read it in segments. Like, you don't need to follow it as carefully. So you can read the fourth section I'm going to talk about, or you could read the fifth section that I talk about, or the seventh. Although 5 and 6 do come after each other, this is how I put it down. Now, there is a kind of connecting thread or you can read these next sections any way you want. They kind of branch out from different points in the section that I just talked about. So, the fourth section is you would want to start with Bonds, which is Misfits of Missville 3. And then I would read Christmas in Missville, which is a Christmas novella based on the different couples of the Missville clan. And then I would read The Elusive Griffin, which is Mystics of Missville 1. And then Make-A-Wish, which is a little spin-off novella. And then I would read The Vulnerable Human, which is Mystics of Missville 2. And then The Reclusive Dryad, which is Mystics of Missville 3. And then just know that there is a time skip. So if she releases any more books before, that takes place before this next one, I would read it in between Reclusive Dryad and this next one. But just keep in mind there is, I think, about at least a 10-year time skip. And the first one is Cam's Treasure. And then there's also on November 5th of 2025, there's going to be a, let me say that Cam's Treasure is the Heirs of Missville 1. So the kids that you meet in the other Missville books are going to be getting their own series. And the second one in that series, in the Heirs of Missville series, is Finn's Solace, which comes out March 5th, 2025. As of recording, the time that release may be brought up. Stella Rainbow tends to put tentative dates on her releases, and I tend to see that they are sometimes released sooner than the estimated time. So yeah. And then that series is also ongoing. So there's going to be more than just the two, I'm thinking. We just don't know what the next one after Finn's Solace is going to be. And then the section 5, which you can read before or after all of this Missville clan books. There's Salvation, which is Innocent Monsters, Book 1. And then it's Liberation, Innocent Monsters, Book 2. And then Conviction, which is Innocent Monsters, Book 3. Then Redemption, which is Innocent Monsters, 4. Now, I would either then go to the next section I'm going to talk about, or you could just finish this off by reading Extraction, which is Innocent Monsters, Book 5. Now, for section 6, which kind of takes place a little bit after Conviction and Redemption, which is, so the next one is The Naga, which is The Sanctuary, the Forest, Book 1. And then the next book in that series, which is the Jorogamo. I'm sorry I butchered that. That one's going to be coming out on March 20th. And the series is still ongoing. And then this 7th one you can read after all of the Lords of Otherworld books. And that would be Summoning Chaos, which is the prequel to the Demon Debacles series. And then My Demon Roommates is Demon Debacles book 1. Then My Demon Manny, which is Demon Debacles book 2. And then My Demon Assistant, which is Demon Debacles book 3, which comes out on May 15th. That is all. See you in the next video. Bye.